right, we should be live on YouTube, Rumble, Odyssey. If there's any issues with the audio, can somebody let me know in the chat, please? That'd be great. So what are we going to talk about tonight? Well, we got a whole bunch of stuff. Hope everybody's having a good night. Can't be that good, or else you wouldn't be here. But I'm in the same place as you. So let's make the best of this, shall we? I think it'll be fun. So we're going to talk about, okay, so you've heard about these leftist activists that seem to be becoming increasingly the victim of their own ideology, the victim of their own, fake empathy, soft on crime ideology. And it turns out that one of these guys had criticized Scott Adams just the day before. Was a guy in Philly who was shot in his home, who was it's a far left activist, with everything that comes along with that and supports all the things that come along with being that. And I'm not taking Schadenfreude on this guy at all, because it's still horrible. But I also have, no sympathy for somebody who advocates for policies that hurt other people, destroy other people's families. Because we don't really see the empathy there, do we? So I don't have a lot of sympathy. I have to say I don't have a lot of sympathy. Oh, it looks like we got Kevin Smith in the chat on YouTube. Hey, welcome in. Finally caught a live stream. Yeah, this is only the second one I've done since I think May. I did one last week on Friday. I think we're going to try and make Fridays the regular night now, between 11, 12 o'clock kind of thing. Starting somewhere around there. Anyway, welcome in. Hope you're having a good night. How's the audio? Sounding good? I'm not very practiced at this live streaming, so I'm still working on it. Normally, I just put up my regular videos that you guys see. So I think I've got it down pretty good now. I don't think we should have a problem. But in any case, so here's the headline. Leftist Philly journalist who mocked Scott Adams 2 days ago about murder prediction was murdered in his home this morning. Let's see. Do we actually have that tweet? Look at bookmarks here. Hold on. Sorry, guys. I guess I'm not as well prepared as I thought I was. No, I don't have it right there. But in any case, yeah, the guy mocked Scott Adams, and like 2 days later, well, that was it for him. But I heard it was not just him. I heard there was another one. The guy in New York. What was his name? Hold on a sec. Actually, give me 1 second to get rid of that. There we go. A murdered leftist activist, Ryan Carson, has history of celebrating death, violence towards conservatives, and he also apparently had a go at Scott Adams as well. So, yeah, I guess if you're a far left activist and you want to criticize Scott Adams on Twitter, maybe you just shouldn't. I mean, maybe just don't, because there's not a very good track record with this, apparently. Now, again, I mean, you see here, the guy in New York, history of celebrating death and violence towards conservatives. Maybe this is karma, I'm not celebrating it. I'm saying maybe this is karma. Karma does tend to work out a lot of times, the universe seems to get pissed off occasionally. Here he is tweeting about when Rush Limbaugh died. He said, hell yeah. See, I got a feeling, I just feel like that's some bad karma right there. That could give you some bad karma. Probably shouldn't do it. I'm not celebrating this guy dying at all. I think it's awful. I'm just saying I don't have sympathy. That's different. Let's see. Carson, who was a prominent far left activist and poet in New York City, was remembered by friends and Democrat lawmakers for his acts of kindness, but unearthed posts on social media reveal that Carson celebrated the death of conservatives, advocated for violence against police, violently threatened elected officials, and dedicated his life to abolishing law enforcement. And you know that when you're trying to abolish law enforcement, you know that people are going to get hurt, people are going to get killed, families are going to get destroyed. You know that. And this guy was a Marxist. He was, Antifa, full Marxist. And they, the old saying is, I think, well, I remember there was a story of a conversation that George Orwell was having with one of the champagne socialists in England. And they were talking about, the million people that Lenin killed after the Russian Revolution. And the guy said, "You've got to break a few eggs to make an omelet." And Orwell said, "Where's the omelet?" That they do have that kind of attitude. They do have that attitude where they expect bad things to happen to people. Ah. So if you're doing all of that, and you're mocking Scott Adams on Twitter, this is a bad combination. Maybe you can just do one of them, but you can't do both. Scott Adams, he's a weird guy, huh? There's almost something mystical about this guy. He predicts a lot of things correctly. This tweet from the leftist Philly journalist was in regards to Scott Adams tweeted, I think it was, he said, if Biden wins in 2020, you'll all be dead within a year. And the guy said, "Oh, look, Nostradamus made fun of him." And then I guess he was going back to an old tweet of Scott Adams, which he didn't need to do. And then 2 days later, he himself was dead. So, yeah. Man, I don't usually want to mock Scott Adams because I like Scott Adams. I think he's good. I don't agree with everything that he says, of course. I don't agree with what lots of people say, or anybody. I don't agree with anybody 100% of the time because I'm not a dingbat. But if I did have occasion to criticize Scott Adams, probably just do it at home alone. I'm also not a far left activist either. So yeah, I mean, I think I'll be fine. I think you guys will be too. I wonder if this will have any effect. It wasn't just these two. There was also the tech CEO who was murdered at her apartment building, as well as she was woke. You just had the Democrat congressman in DC who was carjacked. I wonder if any of this kind of sticks. Like people, I mean, it's not just happening like for the activists, it's not just happening in the places where they don't live anymore. It's come to them now. I wonder if there's any kind of introspection going on. I wouldn't expect so. I doubt it very much. But it makes you wonder, doesn't it? All right. Looks like we got some people on Rumble watching. Hey, you guys, feel free to get into the chat. That's always fun. Where are we going next? Okay. You know what? I'm just going to quickly go through the stories we're going to cover. So we've got Trudeau, who's lying about saying that parents that are concerned about their kids and what they're being taught in school are hateful. He's lying about having done that. We're going to go over Mike Lindell a little bit too, because just the whole machine is coming after him, and it's frightening. It really is frightening. Then we're going to go to world's largest women's tech conference taken over by men identifying as non-binary. I'm not surprised. This is what you get with your identitarianism. We'll talk a little bit about this is just unbelievable. Biden's building the wall, big, beautiful wall. You can't make this up. What do we got next? Let's see. SEC investigates SEC investigates Elon Musk's Twitter purchase after Biden said it was worth being looked at. So, yeah. So Elon Musk is at least way better on free speech than the people that used to run Twitter X. You know, it's surreal watching the machine at work. Just having absolutely, like, they don't care. They want you to see it. It's incredible. Terrifying. Let's see. Oh, yeah. We'll take a little look at this. Candace Owens to students victimized by her presence on campus. Life's tough. Get a helmet. That's pretty funny. There's another little video there, too, which we can go over. Yeah, we're going to go through some stuff on Twitter. And I think we're going to end it off with some weird news stories, which is always fun. Yeah, let's try and get rid of that for later. Okay. All right, so let's go back. Which one? Trudeau parental rights. Trudeau says he never suggested people worried about parental rights are hateful. Really? Anyone who's trying to politicize or spin this as an attack on one particular group is trying to divide communities against each other, Trudeau said Thursday. Oh, well, that seems so strange. It seems like Trudeau has been the most divisive prime minister of all time. Seems like Trudeau has been trying to constantly divide Canadians against each other. Seems like Trudeau has constantly been going on about how everybody who doesn't agree with them is a racist or a transphobe or some sort of phobe or, you know, far right or influenced by shadowy far right figures in the US or Russia or something. It's the guy who said, who talked about the people with the unacceptable views. He says he never suggested people worried about parental rights are hateful. Huh, that's very interesting. I wonder if in this article, there we go. Well, here's a tweet. This tweet was from the day of the Million March. Now, this was a march in Canada organized across in cities across Canada from parents, and it was organized by Muslim parents as well, by the way. You notice he doesn't say Islamophobia anymore. He doesn't accuse anybody of being Islamophobic anymore. Not since the Muslim parents have raised their voices. And so you had the Million March across Canada. This was a very diverse group of protests, marches across Canada. You had, you know, Muslims, Sikhs, white people, white Canadians, everybody. Much more diverse than Trudeau's own cabinet, I would say. And on that day, he tweeted this. He said, "Let me make one thing very clear. Transphobia, homophobia, and biphobia." Biphobia, that's his new one. So he had to get rid of Islamophobia. So he's throwing in he's replaced it with biphobia now. And it's hilarious. Have no place in this country. We strongly condemn this hate and its manifestations, and we stand united in support of all of the letters Canadians across the country. You are valid and you are valued. Nobody's saying that anybody's not valid or valued. This is what he tweeted on that day. He says, "Let me make one thing very clear." He's saying here, apparently he's saying that he never suggested people worried about parental rights are hateful. let me make one thing very clear. So it would appear that he is lying again, which is totally normal because that's all he ever fucking does is lie about everything. The man has no soul. He has no principles. We're stuck with him till 2025 because of the NDP and their ability to keep him in power, basically, and pass all of his bills. But I don't know what 2025 is a long time away, and I'm not even going to try and imagine how much more damage he can do to the country. You know, keep in mind too, this is the guy who can't tell us how many times that he did blackface. Now, I know it was 20 years ago when he did it. I know it was a different time back then. But I was also alive then, and I wasn't doing it. I wasn't constantly putting on blackface. I don't know anybody who did it. In fact, I don't think I'd met anybody who did it. So I wouldn't say that it was like a normal thing exactly, especially not doing it over and over again so many times that you can't say how many times you did it. He said when asked by the press, how many times did you do this? He went, well, if I give you a number and then it's more, well, that'd look bad. Yeah, I guess that would. The whole thing looks bad. Now, it's not that I think that Justin Trudeau was doing the blackface out of racial hatred, right? And I'll say, yeah, it was a different time then. It was not as sensitive as today. I think it's more of a fetish thing with him, to be honest. But if you have done that, it's on the record. Maybe you shouldn't be throwing rocks at other people's houses. Perhaps it seems a little bit. Perhaps it seems like you're the last person who should be throwing around accusations of bigotry. Perhaps you've lost that right. Come on. Let's see. Caps in the chat here. And the chat is saying that he can't remember how many times he has done blackface because he was too high. Well, there are those reports of the huge amounts of cocaine on his plane in India. And how he disappeared for 2 days. Addicts will disappear. I mean, do I think in my rational brain, do I think that he was loaded off his head with a plane full of cocaine in India? I mean, my rational brain tells me, oh no, I mean, that can't really be the case. I think that the ambassador who made the accusations was actually trying to make a point about Trudeau making accusations against India, but I'm not giving him any breaks now. I'm just choosing to believe that Justin Trudeau was whacked off his gourd on cocaine in India. I've just decided that's the way. That's what I want to believe. That's the world that makes the most sense to me. So yes, he can't remember how many times he did blackface because he was too high, just like he was in India. He gets no grace anymore, none, and no benefit of the doubt. When I have the chance to again vote against the Liberal Party, I mean, I don't want to think about it too much. I don't want to ruin the moment, but I think it's going to be a special moment for me. I think it's going to be kind of transcendent. I think it's going to be something meaningful, spiritual almost. And then I'm going to have to criticize the Conservatives because, they're not going to do what I want. They're going to, the natural tendency for conservative parties now, and let me say, I fully support Pierre Poilievre, and I'm going to vote Conservative, obviously. And I want him to do I want him to be a great even conservative leader, but the natural tendency of conservative parties in this day and age is just to be the light version of whatever the far left lunatics were doing before them. And I think that we have to put pressure. I mean, God willing, conservatives win in 2025 with a majority, but the job's not over then, because the natural tendency is going to be to play it safe and to worry about the media being mean to them. We're so far past that right now. Well, let's see here in the chat. Caps is saying again, the more I think about it, though, the more I think the Coke plane is true. As you say, him missing, plus the plane was held up for some reason for a few days at the end. I could see it. I'm just choosing to believe that. I'm just choosing to believe that. I'm not giving Trudeau any benefit of the doubt whatsoever. This is just my natural tendency now. You guys don't have to. And I understand if you don't, because, but I'm just choosing. Because I'll tell you what, Trudeau just straight out lies about Canadians all the time for political gain, maybe just for his ego, you know? So, no, I'm with you. I'm with you on this. That was a cocaine plane from a cocaine prime minister. Okay, so anyway, where were we? We got sidetracked. So Trudeau's is saying he wants to make one thing very clear, that all the phobias and everything, blah, blah, blah. He strongly condemns hate and its manifestations. Well, what was happening that day? It was a million march. It was a million march against, by parents, demanding that schools not be able to hide from them if their children are socially transitioning at school. Now, this just seems like the most common sense thing in the world, doesn't it? Teachers being able to hide something like that from parents, just having this little secret world. I mean, we've seen some of these parents, right? They show us who they are on social media. Do you really trust that one of these far left gender cultists isn't suggesting to kids that, maybe you're born in the wrong body? They have any problem. Maybe you're born in the wrong body. They seem to be really into this, right? Parents naturally would distrust anything that wants to keep secrets about their children from them. Obviously. I wouldn't be surprised if Justin Trudeau actually does understand that. It just doesn't care. Just doesn't care, because all he cares about is power. I wouldn't be surprised. And now he's trying to say, I mean, we've got it right here. There's no debate. There's no debate about him attacking parents. Prime Minister stood by his statements on Thursday. I never suggested that someone who's concerned about parental rights is somehow filled with hate or intolerance, said Trudeau. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You did it that day. Let me make one thing very clear from Justin Trudeau. Hate and its manifestations. How could anybody still... What happened? What happened in the lives of Trudeau, his own cult, his cult of personality cult? What happened in their lives to make them so immune to reason or common sense? Oh, man, getting worked up. Hope this isn't getting too exciting for you guys. All right. All right. 25 minutes already. Holy, okay, we better move on. Now, here's another example of it. Just looks like the machine is going for anybody anybody who's pro-Trump. I mean, this stuff is terrifying. This stuff is all unprecedented. Mike Lindell is broke, may lose legal team after 2020 election lawsuits. We've lost everything. This is scary stuff. I mean, Lindell's legal team filed to separate from him on Thursday, citing millions of dollars in unpaid bills. The My Pillow guy said he is not trying to stiff his attorneys. He simply cannot afford to pay them. Now he's being sued. He's fending off defamation lawsuits from the election systems companies Smartmatic and Dominion Voting Systems, and a third lawsuit from former Dominion employee Eric Coomer. That's his name, Eric Coomer. There's nothing funny about that. Related to Lindell's claim of election fraud in the 2020 election. Smartmatic is seeking $1 billion in damages, while Dominion is seeking $1.3 billion, according to the Associated Press. Something is really wrong here. So you've got companies that make election voting machines, and apparently they are immune from criticism. Like it seems like kind of like not the smartest thing. Like maybe there should be some sort of defamation carve out for when you've got the companies that are in a very real way responsible for the integrity of an election. Perhaps they shouldn't be immune from criticism. Even if somebody says something false, I mean, it seems like there would be a value in being able to vocally criticize, even if it's wrong, because you need to. I mean, I don't know if you could trust them, but if you can't criticize them, that would make you trust them a lot less. I don't know why paper ballots went away. It seems like, I mean, that's just the simplest, most secure way. And you just go in person, vote with a paper ballot. Count them, there you go. Like every other country does this. Anyway, this stinks to high heaven, doesn't it? I mean, if you're Mike Lindell in this situation and the whole security state hates you, can you even get a fair trial? Can you even get like a fair judge? You have to wonder about that. I don't know. It just seems like everybody who is anti-establishment is getting ruined in lawfare. And it's not just that. It's not just that. Here, from October 2nd, Mike Lindell says, My Pillow is now facing multiple IRS audits. Geez, I guess that's a coincidence, huh? Seems a bit strange to me. You know, a little bit, it feels like if somebody wanted to destroy Mike Lindell, this might be the way you go about it. Scary stuff. All right. World's largest women's tech conference taken over by men identifying as non-binary. Now, I mean, it's obvious, right? It's obvious. I mean, hey, they made the rules. They made the rules that you are just what you say you are. If you say you're non-binary, you're non-binary. If you say that you're a pony, you're a pony. If you say that you're a rainbow, you're a rainbow. You're rainbow gender, right? If you think you're a frog, you're frog gender. That's real, by the way. Frog gender, that's a real one. If you say that you're all genders, and there's an infinite number of them, if you say that you're all of them, you are omnigender. If you say that, people just have to believe it. If you're void gender, that means that you have no gender, none at all. You have just been born without a gender, but you feel the loss or the lack of having a gender. And that's super real. That's not retarded, apparently. Apparently, that's a real thing. So they made the rules that you are just what you say. If you're a man and if you're biologically male and you say you're a woman, no no transition at all. You just say you're a woman. Well, you're a woman now. That's the rules that they made. Now, of course, this is all stuff that people could foresee because it's also idiotic and incoherent. But here we go. And guess what? Uh, they're mad about it. World's largest women's tech conference taken over by men identifying as non binary. A career building conference intended to boost women's opportunities to get a job in the tech industry was invaded by crowds of men who identified as non binary. They don't need to have the conference, right? Like, all these tech companies are dying to uh, hire women anyway, right? To boost their ESG score or their diversity score or whatever. They don't need this in the first place, but they do it anyway. They're obsessed. I mean, it doesn't matter if the difference in the number of men versus women in STEM fields is because more men go into STEM fields than women. That doesn't matter. It's not just people's preferences, apparently. That's not the reason. No, it has to be some sort of oppression. So they must have these, women only things, even though, even though it's mostly men that want to do the jobs. And the women will get hired anyway. They'll get hired ahead of a more qualified man just because the companies want to say they're diverse. They want it for their ESG score, whatever. All right. The Grace Hopper celebration event held in Orlando, Florida from September 26th to 29th was touted as, quote, the world's largest gathering of women and non-binary technologists. Why does it matter? Like, isn't a technologist just a technologist? Okay. A video circulating on social media showed scores of men attending the event and jumping into recruiting lines after identifying as non binary, causing outrage among women who paid up to $1,300 for a ticket to attend the conference. 1,300 bucks. They don't need to do that. All they need to do is apply and they'll get the job. Nobody cares if they're good or not. Now, I'm not saying that they're not all good. I'm sure there are many that are excellent, right? It's just there's the supply or the demand for female or, whatever they're calling diverse is probably greater than the supply. So they're not going to have trouble anyway. You wouldn't think. I mean, I don't know. Many women took to social media to express their frustration, slamming the event organizer, Anita B, a company that says it focuses on helping, quote, women and non binary technologists succeed. The viral video shows men meeting with recruiters while women waited behind them in line. Males took over a women in tech career conference by registering as non binary. What else did you expect them to do? So, you can see in that actually, I'm surprised they complained because the men that are there are not white males. So I'm surprised they didn't uh, think they were going to be called racist or something. But I guess because it's women, they don't. I don't know. Whatever. I don't know what all the woke rules are. Um, all I know is that it's all incoherent. So yeah, I mean, what do you really expect? Like, so when you create an in group, okay, you also create an out group, and then that out group becomes its own in group, right? And what do all the people in that out group have in common? Well, they all need a job, right? And here's a job fair, and they know they're being discriminated against just simply because they're male, right? Because all the tech companies, all the STEM fields are dying to get women in at all costs. So what are they going to do? You know, you've already said, okay, you're the out group, right? So they're going to form their own in group and they're going to say, well, you know, they said non-binary and they said that anybody is just whatever they say they are, you know? You could say you're a lamp or antlers or something or a shoelace and people have to pretend that that's what you are, and it's only pretending, by the way. All of this gender shit, it's only people pretending. Nobody actually believes it. So yeah, they're going to say, well, I can just say I'm non-binary and they have to believe me, or else I can call them a phobe, right? So of course they're going to do that. And I think that it's awesome and hilarious. And it's funny just watching this incoherent house of cards destroy itself, just fall down, you know? How can you have rules, right? Like there can't even be rules in all of this because none of it makes sense. Everything has to be arbitrary. Everything has to be an arbitrary decision. How can the women there be mad at the men? They're the ones who made the rules. They're the ones who said, if you say that you're something, that's what you are, and everybody has to believe it. So I'm going to say those men are legends, and they're awesome, and their legend will live forever in time, till the end of time, as a matter of fact. Um, and they should all immediately get jobs, all of them, because they showed real initiative there. And plus, they're non-binary, right? They're all non-binary. I'm not going to question that. I don't want to be a phobe. Those women shouldn't be either. In fact, they should all be canceled. All of the women who complained. It's disgraceful. It's shameless. How about this one? Well, well, well. Biden stuns allies with border wall bombshell. That's right. Joe Biden's building that wall. He's building that big, beautiful wall. Maybe he'll put a moat in front of it and put some alligators and sharks in there, right? So, is this an admission that Trump was right? That walls do work? They actually work? Well, the whole thing is just a big shit show. Biden's not admitting that walls work, and he still says he's against it. But there's nothing you can do. The money's already been appropriated. It's hilarious. Nothing to do, I guess, with them, like New York up in arms, saying that they're overrun with illegal immigrants. Nothing about maybe, Democrat voters going, hold on, no, this wasn't supposed to affect us. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. All of a sudden, border walls going up, and Biden's helpless to stop. He doesn't even think that they work. That's what he's saying. How do you make this shit up? It's so freaking bizarre. I guess the expectation is that just people don't notice. Or they'll just say, the Democrat voters will just say, oh, yeah, no, border walls are good. We've always been for border walls. Such a strange thing. I mean, he sold off. I think he actually tore down parts of the border wall. He sold off the materials they had to that were sitting there that hadn't been put up when Biden took office. They sold that off, and now suddenly they're putting it up again. Do you think that any of the people in that regime have any principles whatsoever? Any? It seems like the left everywhere in the English speaking world has just gone completely mad. It's very strange. Having a bit of trouble getting rid of this thing. I don't know how I do that. Maybe we'll have to I don't know. Anyway, they're putting up a wall now. Biden's doing it. More details will come out, I'm sure, over the weekend or on Monday, and we'll follow it. We'll see what's happening, but it's freaking hilarious. Where are we at now? Here we go. More of the machine making its power felt. Creep state. SEC investigates Elon Musk's Twitter purchase after Biden said it was worth being looked at. This is from yesterday, this story. Now, why was it worth being looked at by Joe Biden? Why does Joe Biden think it was worth being looked at? Because he just doesn't like that it happened. That's why. He thinks it's worth being looked at because Elon Musk, although not perfect on free speech, I'm not going to claim that, but better, still much better than the previous ownership of Twitter, now X. That's why it's worth being looked at. I mean, do you guys watch the Biden's Red speech where he talked about how, Trump supporters were the greatest threat to, I don't know, the history of the world or something? These people are authoritarians, right? They want to exercise power. They don't like free speech. They especially don't like jokes and memes. There's a lot of that on X. I mean, it's so obvious, isn't it? Why Elon Musk? Let's see. They had an investigation because he wasn't hiring non-citizens to work at SpaceX. So now he's being sued for that as well. When he was told that you can't because it raises security questions, like national security concerns, right? Like bizarre stuff that's so strange that you're thinking they're making it look insane on purpose, with the purpose of saying we can do anything. That's the point. No matter who you are, we can get you. We saw a little bit of that in Canada from the Freedom Convoy with the government freezing bank accounts. In fact, it's not a little bit of that, it's a lot of that. But these are flexes. These are demonstrations of power. And just obviously, transparently so. The latest evidence we're living in a totalitarian regime can be found in the SEC's announcement today that they are investigating Elon Musk's purchase of Twitter, now known as X. They're even taking him to court to get him to testify. The lawsuit came almost a year after President Joe Biden, creeper in chief, said that the business move was worth being and declined to say if he thought that Musk was a national security threat. Well, definitely a national narrative threat, for sure. That's what they're really worried about. They're even taking him to court to get him to testify. So that's a trap, right? That's a trap. That's to just ask him a million questions for as long as they can, and then bring him back in and ask him again. And if he just makes a simple mistake, forgets something, or is 5 minutes off on the time of some meeting or something, that's how they get them. That's how they get you. I mean, it's not like we're seeing a lot of principled actors these days, right? I think you have to be suspicious of everything. Biden. This is from November 9th, 2022. I think that Elon Musk's cooperation and or technical relationships with other countries is worthy of being looked at. Whether or not he is doing anything inappropriate, I'm not suggesting that. I'm suggesting that it's worth being looked at. That's all I'll say. Yeah. Coming from the people who brought you the Russia collusion hoax. So, I mean, it's all just in the open, right? Like, there's no question of that now. It's just in the open. The reason that they keep harassing Elon Musk is because they're not controlling X, formerly Twitter, the way they used to. I'm sure they are still exerting some influence over it. I'm sure they are exerting some still, but they're not getting everything they want all the time, and that's what's necessary to please them. Anyway, that's scary, right? It's I have to keep reminding myself that this stuff is not normal. Like, this is a new world, right? Is it a new world order? It feels like that's where we're heading, but this stuff is all unprecedented. This is something new. Let's see. Somebody's calling me an Elon Musk shill. Huh, that's interesting. Yeah. I just said he's not perfect. I said there's still problems, didn't I? But why would you why would I shill for you? Like, what do I get out of that? Exactly. Like like do I think that Elon Musk is gonna call me or something? like ask me to go hang out at SpaceX with him? Shill. Am I being paid by Elon? Is that what you think? Do you think I'm gonna get like a PayPal payment after this stream? It just seems like a weird thing to say, like in public, right? It's kind of retarded, right? Odd. Very odd. I wonder what motivates people. No idea. Anyway, just for the record, for the record, I'm not being paid by Elon Musk. Just so you guys know. Just want to be clear on that. Okay. Let's move on. What's going on here? All right, we got Candace Owens to students victimized by her presence on campus. She says, life's tough. Get a helmet. Now, I want to warn you guys, I'm about to shill for Candace Owens here. So I don't know if you guys can handle that. I don't want to embarrass myself, but I can't help myself. I have to shill. I have to shill on Rumble for people that I've never met or will ever meet. All right. I guess it's getting kind of late. Maybe that's why I'm getting crabby. What time we got? Yeah, it is getting late. Anyway, let's plow on. So I've actually got I've got some video of her talking, which I don't know. I think it's worth seeing. I'm gonna have to switch screens here. Hold on. There we go. All right. Now let me know if you can hear the audio. I had trouble last
So
time.
my question is just like, how do you think?
I had trouble last
so
time.
like, what?
I think I've got it fixed, but if you guys can't hear this, let me know in the comments, okay? So this is Candace Owens. She's speaking at a university, and she's getting some pushback from the woke audience. Let's hear it.
What I know we all are aware of what happened on campus last year.
I'm not.
Okay. Great. Look it up. So it was just involving the feeling of LGBTQ members of the community feeling unsafe with rhetoric that's being shared in terms of transphobia.
Like what? Like if you're a
homophobia.
man, I need an example. And someone, like if you're a biological man and someone says, "Hey, what's up, dude?"
More of like there's students on campus that are living in communities where they don't feel safe because of rhetoric of explaining that transphobia isn't accepted. So my question is just like, how do you think free speech impacts everybody in community?
Yeah, I mean, the idea that if somebody looks at a man and calls him a man, that they're suddenly unsafe because they've created a false reality in their own head. Yeah, I don't abide by that. I think this is what's really happening is that we are celebrating orders in America right now. I had a stalker, a very serious stalker at FBI, ended up getting involved, who had suffered from schizophrenia. He very believed, and it was a terrifying thing to go through. He escaped the Psych 150 hold, and he very much believed that he and I were in a relationship, and he would send me about 100 emails a day, okay? In the world of what you believe in your head now needs to be accepted as reality, I would have had to marry him and raise my children with him, okay? But what was going on in his head wasn't actually reality. And me saying that this person needs to stay away from me and my family because there's something wrong with him and he was threatening to kill me if I didn't, raise my child with him, that was reality. That was something that had to be dealt with. So what's happened right now is the left is trying to make it seem that people who see reality for what it is are demented and are creating unsafe territory, and that's not the truth. In fact, what I think is unsafe territory is for people to be affirmed in their delusions. So I will never refer to a biological male as a female. And if that makes somebody feel unsafe, I'm not following you around. I don't know what happened on your campus. I wouldn't follow you around and say, hey, you're a male. Totally fine, go live your life as you want to live your life. But when you say that the way that you live your life now has to impact me and I have to pretend that I see a woman when clearly you are a man, I shouldn't have to play that game. That's all. Thank you very much.
All right. I mean, that is all very sensible, isn't it? It's all very sensible. Because it does come down to, does somebody else have the right to demand that you share in their delusion? I mean, if somebody tells you that they're Napoleon, you're not, you should not be compelled to humor this person, to pretend to believe that you also think that they're Napoleon. It's not really good for anybody, is it? In that case, you wouldn't. I mean, maybe woke people will get mad if you didn't now. I don't know. But it just seems like entirely unhealthy, doesn't it? It seems to be something that is treading on other people's rights. Now, here's another one. Let's take a look at this one.
Trans students on this campus who actively feel victimized by your presence here today. Additionally, you just pointed out that this man detransitioned, but earlier in your speech...
Guys, I want to hear her. Go ahead. What do I have to say? Just the question, please. No speech. What is the question?
What do you have to say to the trans students on this campus who feel actively victimized by your presence here?
Life's tough. Get a helmet, man. I'm too pregnant for this. Next question.
Trans...
Based. Absolutely based. Here she tweeted with this video. She said, I am over 8 months pregnant with 2 toddlers at home. If you're a 20-year-old adult who feels actively victimized by my standing on stage to speak about social and economic conservatism, it is because your parents failed you entirely. It's not my job to coddle adults. Yeah. Yeah, it's really not. This is the level of absurdity where people can claim to feel victimized because, an 8 months pregnant woman is going to speak on a stage. It's so strange. It's so weak, isn't it? It's so pathetic. It's like calling people shills on live streams. Same energy. Same energy. All right. I think we're going to go over to, I got one last thing set up for you guys. Where is it? Here we go. Okay. I think we'll probably end off the stream with this. All right, we're going to Toronto Sun. Weird news. So what do we got in the weird news? OnlyFans couple with 54 OnlyFans couple with 54-year age difference celebrate her 80th birthday with cake and surprises. Surprises. What is the surprises? Multiple strokes? OnlyFans couple with a 54-year age difference. So this is the grossest OnlyFans channel. Net income, 0. Man who married a 71-year-old woman when he was 18. Huh. Well, you know what? Love wants what love wants, right? So I don't know. All the best to them. I hope they're happy. I'm not sure they want to share their happiness on OnlyFans. I don't know why people would want to see their happiness and them celebrating on OnlyFans. But okay, you know what? Live and let live. I'm pretty libertarian. I mean, people can do what they want to do. It's none of my business. I mean, if it's funny, it's funny. If it's super weird, it's super weird. But you know, fine. In fact, I wish them all the best, and I'm happy for them. Let's see what else we got here. Plus size influencer who wanted extra pardon me. Plus size influencer extra seat on flights, adds wider hotel hallways to list. She wants wider hotel hallways. All right, we have to get into this one. Let's take a look. Size influencer wants wider hallways list. So she's already complained as planes are not big enough for her. See if we can make this page a little bigger. Oh, that's a shit. Okay. A plus size influencer and advocate who once petitioned for airlines to give larger passengers extra seats for free has now turned her attention to the hotel industry, with one of her proposals being to widen their hallways. Widen their hallways. It doesn't look that big. Can't fit through a hallway? I mean, I guess like tearing down all of the hotels or doing major renovations to make the hallways wider, probably pretty expensive. I'm not even sure if that's really doable, to be honest. Maybe they could just put some like grease on the walls or something, right? So they can at least push her if she gets stuck. It's cheaper, I guess. You know, it would make everything a little slippy. Maybe they'd be falling. Maybe they could just, I don't know, have like the whole floor would be, I don't know, mattresses, or like the ballroom at the like McDonald's and the kids' plaything or something, because people would be falling. We just have to make everything safer and more easy access for people who can't fit into hotels. I mean, the only reason for that would be bigotry, right? And another thing too, I've noticed that a lot of hotels don't have all-you-can-eat buffets in the room. They've got to do something about that. I mean, that's discrimination, right? She created a list of ways hotels can create size-inclusive amenities. As she declared that she is on a mission to revolutionize the travel industry and make it a more accessible, accommodating place for all. It kind of sounds like this is all completely unreasonable and will end up costing everybody else a lot of money because she can't stop eating. They tell us what she wants to do. Some people need 2 seats on a plane, as she says. If so, the second one should be free. Nah, I don't think so. I mean, she's filling up those 2 seats for sure, but it's not the plane's fault. Let's see. In a world where we should all be striving for equality, it's not really equality, though, is it, though? Is it? Should other people have to pay more so you can take 2 seats? Is that equality? It's time to confront an issue that has long been swept under the rug: the unequal treatment of plus-size travelers when it comes to air travel. We've seen it all. Some people, like myself, needing 2 seats on a plane. But should they be charged for that second seat? Yes. Should they be penalized for their bodies? They're acting as if it's just they have nothing to do. She's acting as if she has nothing to do with her circumstance. That's what's so maddening. This woman can exercise control over some of. There is something she can do. The entire world, the entire airline industry, the entire hotel industry doesn't actually need to change. It's not like there's no way out, no other way out, right? There is something that she could do. And we all know what that is. Nobody's being penalized for their bodies. Like, it's such a strange world. I mean, we must be doomed. Humanity must be doomed. Let's see. All right. You know what? Let's keep moving. I'm done with this story. It disgusts me. What else we got? Computer's acting a little bit slow. Okay, so woman sues Disney for $50 over alleged injurious wedgie suffered on ride. Okay. But not everything is their fault. I mean, I know they're bad. I know Disney is a poisonous company that's been trying to brainwash everybody, but they're not responsible for everything. They're not responsible for your wedgie. All right. Let's see. Odds and ends, pothead sheep, and other offerings. Oh, you mean communists? All right, let's move on. Oh, here's a good one. Chess player denies using vibrating anal beads to beat opponent. Okay, we're going to have to take a look at this one. Now, I guess that's the chess player there. That's his face. Does he look like he has anal beads in? I'm going to say yes. Definitely. An American chess player has categorically denied using vibrating anal beads to beat the world's top player during a tournament last year. You know, I think it might be better if I actually make the screen a little bit smaller. Okay, maybe that'll work a bit better. He says, it has really taught me a lot of important lessons about life and chess, and I think it's only strengthened my resolve, he said. Okay. his resolve to play chess with anybody. I don't know what's going on here. Just to be clear, you didn't cheat, he was asked, and he said, of course not. Morgan asked if Neiman had ever used anal beads while playing chess in the past. And he replied, well, your curiosity is a bit concerning, you know. Maybe you're personally interested, but I can tell you, no. Huh. I wonder if he said it like, maybe you're personally interested, but I can tell you, it'd be funnier if it went like that. Oh, we got Captain Super Straight. That's a good name. He's saying late, but finally here. You know what? I think we're going to be, you know what? Maybe we'll go through some more Twitter stuff. We'll keep it going. We've been going for what? An hour now? Was he using them or did he force them on his opponent? I don't know. Maybe they were, maybe it was, I don't know. Is there like double-sided, double-ended anal? I don't know. You know what? Let's not go there, actually. Let's just leave that one alone. Let's see. Dearmood's last. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Good show, RB. Well done. Thank you very much, sir. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for showing up. Really, without anybody in the chat makes it way, way more fun for me. You know, it makes it 100 times better. So I really encourage you guys to comment as much as you like, and I'll read them. And we'll have fun, even when we have somebody on Rumble saying that I'm an Elon Musk shill. Sorry for asking. No. That's what this time is for. You know, that's what this time is for. We're all adults here. We're all adults. All right, I'm going to switch over screen again to Twitter because I've got some things in my bookmarks there you guys might enjoy. All right, it should come up. There we go. Maybe I'll try and expand the screen a little bit. There we go. All right. So what do we got in here? I mean, this is all right. I've actually put out a video on Hillary Clinton calls for Trump supporters to be re-educated. That's right. In fact, let's listen. And
very strong partisans. And
if there's any issue with the volume here, you guys let me know, all right? Well, hold on a second. Dearmood is saying greetings from a sunny, hot London where it's 8:40 a.m. All right. Well, so this is the morning show for you. This is late night over here across the pond. But it's the morning show over there. Cool. Well, I'm glad it's sunny and nice there. Although, sadly, it's obviously global warming. That's the only explanation for that. I'm sure the city will be melted by noon, but you know what? Enjoy the time while you have it. Oh yeah, Hillary Clinton. So let me know if you guys are, if there's any problem with the audio on this. Again, I think I've got it fixed, but let's try it. Here's Hillary saying just crazy shit or just evil totalitarian shit. But let's watch it.
very strong partisans in both parties in the past. And we had very bitter battles over all kinds of things, gun control and climate change and the economy and taxes. But there wasn't this little tail of extremism wagging the dog of the Republican Party as it is today. Mm-hmm. And sadly, so many of those extremists, those MAGA extremists, take their marching orders from Donald Trump, who has no credibility left by any measure. He's only in it for himself. He's now defending himself in civil actions and criminal actions. And when do they break with him? Because at some point, maybe there needs to be a formal deprogramming of the cult members, but something needs to happen.
And how do you?
Very strong.
Did you hear that? A formal deprogramming. You mean like a gulag, perhaps? Geez, it's a good thing we haven't been calling the left, authoritarian communists for all this time. Just saying it in the open with her fan, Christiane Amanpour. This is all totally normal, apparently. This is what normal people say now. This is what normal people on the left say now. Just, oh, no, well, we might have to just do some formal deprogramming of other human beings who disagree with us. No big deal. It's just, put them in a camp, maybe, I bet a good physical exercise be good for them, too. That's very good for your mental state while you're being deprogrammed, I mean, we do have, some historical precedents for this stuff. Right? It's not like this is like a brand new idea from some naive idealist, right? Like we do have some historical precedents for forcefully trying to get people to pretend they believe things that they don't. Dearwood's saying that he's gonna motorbike around London. He's a badass. I didn't know that. Good for you, man. That's awesome. That's super fun. But yeah, it's kind of weird, right? Like this is just a normal thing that Hillary Clinton can say. Ben Greenwald says, as she gets increasingly bitter about her 2016 defeat, and even when you think there's no way she can be more bitter, Hillary Clinton is more and more the liberal id. She just spews what liberals really think and feel, but know not to say. And I always say this, and I said in the video earlier, but there's nothing really liberal about any of this. Like liberals 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years, it's not like they were from another planet like the modern left, because the modern left is not really, they're not liberal, and they're not confused about that either. They don't like liberals. You've got a bunch of people walking around calling themselves liberal, but they don't believe in free speech or free expression. They're fully on board with censorship. It's not, the disagreements aren't about, whether there should be an extra 3% on a capital gains tax or something, or, the details of a progressive tax or something. No, this is stuff that we're not used to in the West, that free societies aren't used to. Like formal deprogramming, for instance. It's just, it's not like we haven't been warned, Yet there are so many people who just will see this and they'll go, oh yeah, great. And they'll call themselves liberal, even though what they are is a totalitarian far leftist and a Marxist. It's freaking weird. And if you think that, somebody like Hillary Clinton doesn't actually have any core beliefs anyway. This is just somebody who's just interested in power. And as far as I can tell, is full of hate, right? I think Trudeau's like that too. I don't think Trudeau actually has any core beliefs. His core is just about power. I think he's very similar to Hillary Clinton in that way. And also Joe Biden, who also don't believe has any core beliefs. It's just about the power and the exercise of power. Not to mention the fact that I don't believe Joe Biden is in charge of anything. It's clearly not. How many hours a day could somebody in that state work? Even if he worked an hour a day, could he really understand anything that he was, aside from, prosecute this guy, prosecute that guy? Crazy. So here from Fusilli Spock. Weird how all the people who advocate for voluntary suicide never volunteer for it themselves. Weird how all the people who advocate for voluntary suicide never volunteer for it themselves. They don't. Weird, right? You'd think the first thing that would occur to them. Apparently they want to get rid of you. Everything, it's all about, it's like with the WEF, right? With all this, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. Well, yeah, those people, though, are going to own stuff, aren't they? Do you think Klaus Schwab isn't going to own anything? He's going to own a ton of shit. He's going to have a car. He's going to be eating steaks. He's not going to be eating bugs. Neither is Trudeau, neither is Hillary Clinton or Al Gore or any of them. It's a tweet from Elon Musk. Almost no extinctionists think of themselves this way explicitly. Usually they shrouded themselves in moral superiority, but some do, like this guy who wants to genocide humanity. Does it really get much worse than that? I mean, to genocide everybody. He just wants the whole planet gone. Let's see if we can zoom in here. Earth now has 8 billion humans. This man wishes there were none. What a weird thing to think. So odd. Like, do they think that, like, the planet would just continue as like some sort of like Eden, like non-human Eden? Like, the universe is a very dangerous place. The Earth has been completely covered everywhere. The entire surface of the Earth has been covered in ice. They're like miles of ice in the, like 4 times in the past. If we were hit by an asteroid, right? I mean, right now, I think we would have a lot of trouble redirecting an asteroid if it were coming to Earth, and we would need a lot of lead time. But eventually, you could see us having some sort of a system to alert us to it, and to be able to deal with it quickly, and to be able to avoid having a civilization or life-ending event on Earth. I mean, the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs was, I believe, about 13 kilometers across. An asteroid that was 100 kilometers across, I think would very likely that would sterilize the planet. They don't need to be that big. Doesn't need to be the size of the moon. Again, the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs killed 80% of the animals on Earth. It was only about, I think, 10 or 11 or 12 kilometers, which is big. It's mountain size, but it's not, it's not 100, it's not 200. And there's lots of big stuff floating around up there. This idea that if humans weren't here, everything was just going to be perfect. No, there's lots of stuff that could happen. You could have a supernova event, 10 light years away, and that could sterilize the planet. Lots of bad. You could have a 1,000 years of volcanism on the Earth just suddenly, right? These things happen. If there's no people around, if we don't continue to develop as a technological society and come up with, I mean, the technology we have today would be like magic to a Neanderthal, right? Or it would be like magic to somebody 100 years ago. An iPad, right? So we need to keep developing stuff that will seem like magic to us in 100 years, 200 years. This idea that if you just got the people off, everything's going to be fine. No, the universe is a dangerous fucking place, and it doesn't give a shit about owls, and snails. My point is the universe is mean. The universe is really mean. It doesn't care. This dream of not having people on so there can just be this eternal Eden on Earth, this is retarded. And this guy's an idiot. And I don't know about you. I can only speak for myself. I'm not going to get rid of myself because he wants me to. And I hope nobody else does either. People should listen to imbeciles. Not that I think many people would. Anyway, it's late. It's late, people. Rambling. All right, we already watched the Candace Owens. Justin Trudeau, we've already been over this. I never suggested that someone who is concerned about parental rights is somehow filled with hate and intolerance. Yes, He did. He said, let me be clear about this, but we've already covered it. We'll keep going. Oh, yeah. What's going on? Saying if he can't train his dog or raise his family right, what makes anyone think he can run the free world? He's talking about Joe Biden there. Here's a video. Here's a video of Joe Biden kicking his dog. Judicial Watch has also reported that Biden has mistreated his dogs and he has punched and kicked his dogs. Let's take a look at this.
Stay in the White House. Go, work on the problems. But maybe he's got like a secret cave in his house and we don't know about it.
Cave in his house.
For him.
Now, he might have just been in the process of falling over there. That wouldn't be unusual. But that dog keeps biting people, right? He keeps biting the Secret Service. Dogs don't usually just turn into, like angry. They don't usually just start biting people naturally. Like I think it does have something to do with the people with their owners, the people that are raised. I don't know if he had this dog since it was a puppy. But that's not normal. I've had dogs and, like if you're nice to them, they tend to end up nice, right? This whole myth about Joe Biden, the kindly Uncle old Joe Biden, this is all completely falling apart. He had the granddaughter that he refused to acknowledge, right? His own granddaughter, like as a test for a man, right? Essentially disowning your own granddaughter, little girl. That doesn't, you failed if you're doing that, you failed the test. All right. You're not a kindly old man at that point. And he's obviously he just seems mean anyway, doesn't he? His kids are both fucked up. All of his kids are fucked up. Maybe he's a bad guy. Maybe he's a bad guy. And as president, I mean, all he seems to be interested in is arresting everybody who doesn't like him. Maybe he's not kindly old Uncle Joe after all. I'm surprised he doesn't get along better with Trudeau, actually. Let's see, from Jay Ham in the chat. Brother, your content is gold. You need to solve the algorithm problem. There's no solving it. More people need to see your content. Do not give up. I'm not going to give up. Thank you for those comments, by the way. That's really, really appreciated. I'm not going to give up. They can't make me. They want me to give up, but I'm not going to. The algorithm problem is unsolvable. The only thing that works is for people to share, and if somebody comes across my channel and watches one of my videos and they like it, they have to subscribe because YouTube's going to hide it. When you search up Radio Baloney in the YouTube algorithm, when you search up Radio Baloney in the YouTube search engine, the only thing that comes up is the little icon for my channel. If you click on that, it'll take you to my channel, right? But none of my videos show up. I have like 1,200 videos on YouTube, 1,200. Not one of my videos comes up. It's some other bullshit that has nothing to do with Radio Baloney. I mean, is that a mistake? That's a recent thing. Used to be that my videos would come up. Not now. Is that a mistake? Like, what's going on there exactly? But don't worry, I'm not going to give up. I refuse to give up. Jay Ham, thanks a lot, man. Share even more than thank you for sharing. Really appreciate that. And that is like the best thing anybody can do if they want to help out my channel, is just to share my content, because that's really the only way it's going to get around. And if I didn't, I feel compelled to rant on the internet now anyway, but it's also, the reason I started this channel was a crisis of conscience, because I was, and I used to be a liberal, by the way. That's what I always called myself. And I was watching liberals, people calling themselves liberals, going after free speech and promoting censorship. And I thought, that's not very liberal. I don't believe in that. And, over the course of a couple of years, I realized there's just no place for me over there. You know, none of that stuff can I agree with. If you can't, if you're against free speech, if you have a group that's against free expression, there's no place for me there. And it's just progressively, no pun intended, just gotten worse and worse until the entire left now is completely insane. But anyway, thank you for sharing, and that really helps. And I'm just going to keep going because I don't know, I have to, I'm driven to. We were talking about Joe Biden kicking his dog. Yeah, he's an asshole. All right, let's keep going. How about this? This just talking about how insane the left is. All right, so there's the mayor of New York, Eric Adams. Apparently, he's heading to Mexico. He's freaking out because of all the illegal immigrants that are in New York, and they don't have room. And it's become real for the people in New York now. It's not just something that's happening in other people's cities. They're overwhelmed. So he's traveling to Mexico to, God, I don't know. He's saying we are at capacity. In the face of an unprecedented surge of migrants, New York City's mayor flew to Latin America with conflicting messages. As 120,000 migrants flood New York streets, Mayor Adams admitted, quote, "We are at capacity." So you think, okay, they're finally starting to see some sense. Not really, though. Despite this, he stressed his position is unchanged. Quote, "We believe the border should remain open." That's the official position of this city. So the people of New York are up in arms because it's too much for them. They're realizing this is too much. We didn't want this in New York. We're fine with it wherever, in Florida or Texas, wherever. Not here, though. This is not working. So now Eric Adams is freaking out, but very typically we have just a completely incoherent message here. We are at capacity. Also, we believe the borders should remain open. Is it doublethink? Is that double? I think it would be if what he didn't really mean is that, we believe the border should remain open. We are at capacity, but we want them to go to other cities. Because I guess that's the message. Is it doublethink? No, I don't think it is, actually. I think it's just incredibly, I think it's just dumb. I think it's incredibly selfish and cynical is what I think it is. Borders should remain open, but we just don't want any. Other people can have them. We don't care about that. Well, what did Elon Musk say? He said, wow. Wow. Yeah, it's crazy. This passes now just for normal as well amongst the left. This kind of incoherent nonsense. What else we got? Oh yeah, the journalist kind of / Antifa guy in New York who got stabbed. His girlfriend was here's a picture of her with the all ACAB, all cops are bastards shirt, all Antifa, all people who support basically rampant crime. I don't wish harm on anybody, but that's very little sympathy, I have to say, or zero sympathy, to be honest. When you're advocating for policies that get other people hurt and you don't care and you keep doing it, yeah, kind of lost me on that one. All right, we've been going for an hour and a half. I think I'm out, guys. I think I'm done. I think I'm probably too tired to keep going anyway. So we should probably call it a night. Anyway, thanks to everybody who's in the chat. It's always awesome when people are in the chat. I like that. It makes the the stream a lot more fun. Everybody have a great night. Dermot, have a great day across the pond. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys next Friday night, 11:30, 11, 12. I don't know. I'll put something out and let you guys know. Maybe I'll put it out on Twitter. You guys want to follow me over on Twitter. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next week.